All right, getting the word out. So, we'll be sharing tonight several different ways that you can begin sharing Young Living essential oils with friends and family. And you might be a brand new builder, but you might also be someone who has used the products for a long time and you're just now ready to start sharing publicly. That can be a really big step. I remember when I started using the oils, I told my husband, don't tell anybody we're using these oils or think we're crazy. And at the time, I had four children under six, and I was homeschooling them until 3 in the afternoon. And then I was tutoring from 3 until 8, 9, 10 o'clock, 5 nights a week. So I did not feel like I had time for anything. And we really used the oils diligently for 3 months. We were at a point that we felt like we had exhausted so many other options, and we just wanted to see if the oils would work. I didn't know anyone else who used them. And so before I was willing to even think about telling my friends and family about them, I wanted to make sure that I saw really good results and had my own stories to share. And it came to a point that Kevin looked at me and he said, you can't know that this is a way for our friends and family to take care of themselves and not tell them. So we began sharing just with our closest friends. And it was as simple as we would have all our kids at the playground for a play date and picnic, and a child would skin a knee, and I would say, here, put some lavender on that. And before I knew it, they were coming back to me saying, how do I get that? Can you get me some of that? And before long, it really grew quickly. And within a year, I reached gold leadership rank. So that was now 7 years ago, and I'm excited to be able to help you do the same. We really work hard to keep this very, very simple, and you'll be glad to know that we have lots of resources in place that you can pick and choose what fits your values and what fits your schedule and time availability, and it fits around your family. One of the things I love most about Young Living is that it fits around my family. I set my own schedule based on what my husband and children need, and they remain the priority. So that feels really good. There are certainly times that I work full time, that it's a 40-hour week. That's definitely around the holiday time when the business gets very busy. But there's also times that I'm able to take time off and just work minimal hours. And there have been times over the 7 years that I worked very, very little, maybe 15 to 30 minutes a day. Part of that time, from 2015-16, I did have my own lung cancer that presented. So even during that time, the business continued to grow. And I think that that was because it was at a point that I was able to do nothing more than check messages, respond over email and private messenger. And I was so grateful that at that time when I was so sick that we had a fantastic residual income that our family was able to depend on. So Young Living is very relevant to today's needs. I think more and more families are looking for really simple ways to promote natural immunity in their families and within their household. And that's what Young Living is about. And so we're able to prioritize good service, and our business can be blessed for that. So let's take a look here. First of all, I want to really make sure that you understand your Young Living business is whatever you want it to be. We are all considered independent distributors. We all do this our own way. I've known lots of leaders who have done this thing entirely different than I have, and they have great businesses as well. You can do as much or as little as you would like. So the point is that we just want to make sure we're offering good service with consistency over time. So these are the values that I share and have built my business on. And so that's why I'm sharing them with you. That's kind of how you came to this class. First of all, I want to make sure that we are sharing sound information with others so that they can make their own informed decisions for themselves and their families. I feel like if we always prioritize good service by providing information and support and help, then we can walk away from the sales aspect of it because our good service stands for itself. We want to empower others to take care of themselves with Young Living. And we oftentimes we're able to present them with options that cannot be met with other ways. A lot of times we have friends who simply love Young Living because they like the way the oils smell, or they have certain favorite products that they just really love. But we also sometimes have families who have exhausted a lot of options, or they're at a point where they really need to detox their home, and they're looking for new solutions, and Young Living has something for everyone. We want to make sure that we are creating and nurturing long-term friendships through really genuine care. We'll talk a lot about specific action steps and tasks that are helpful, but at the core of each of those is genuine care. That's all we want to do, is just provide our friends with good service and care. Ultimately, through doing this, we are able to create a residual income for our household, and we're going to teach others to share these same products that they love with their loved ones. And in the end, over and over and over, we're helping them to also create residual income for their households. So I feel like these are the types of values that have been really important in building my own business, and ultimately they are priorities and values that Kevin and I feel very strongly about. These are things that are important, and we feel like if we prioritize this, we know that we are taking good care of our friends and family, and we are putting them first, and I can live with myself for the way that I'm doing business. Values that we do not associate with our efforts are salesy, pushing, and getting friends to buy stuff. Y'all, it never has to be that way. No one comes to Young Living and says, I want a sales job. No one comes to Young Living and says, I want to be really salesy on my social media. And no one says, I'm going to get my friends to buy a bunch of stuff so I make a bunch of money. Y'all, ultimately, we want to provide our friends with tools and products that they love, and the sales side takes care of itself. So just know, this is what I think is one of the biggest concerns in doing business, especially with the idea that it's considered an MLM or a network marketing. Keep in mind that the importance of Young Living being set up as a network marketing business is simply so that the consumer has a go-to person to get one-on-one help from. You know, so many different stores have essential oils in place. They're not the same purity, they're not the same quality. But when a person buys from Bed Bath & Beyond or from Walmart, there's no one there who's going to provide them with ongoing support. And so when a friend orders product from you, that they are coming back to you for that help, and they know that you will help them use them well and effectively. So I love that. Good service creates multiple sales. If you take good care of your customers, they open doors you can never open by yourself. This was my family. Yikes. There we go. That picture of my family was our first convention. We just used the Young Living oils for a year, and my girls were so little. They're growing up on me. All right, over the remainder of this presentation, I'm going to share with you 4 key ways that we can share Young Living products. These are not the only 4 ways, but I think they're probably the most commonly used options. And so I wanted to share a little bit about each of them. As we go through it, think about, what do you feel comfortable with? What do you feel comfortable using or learning to use? And just know that whatever combination you choose, you can absolutely grow a Young Living business. You can share effectively, you can buy good service, you can grow residual income with that. So the first is one-on-one assistance with word of mouth. This is through in-person visits, like I mentioned, the play date. This is through private messages on text or on private messenger with Facebook. The second is by adding your friends to a team Facebook group or an online class. So these are electronic resources that are available that largely exist because other leaders have put them in place. but we certainly encourage you to start tapping into them and start creating your own speaking platform. I love the Facebook groups and the online classes because they really let your friends kind of get in there and dig around when they have their own time, when they feel like they can think straight, and there are other leaders there helping you to provide good service. It's not all on you. I often get questions from new leaders saying, do I need to have my own Facebook group? Up front, I will tell you, don't do that for a long time. Not until you have at least 100 members in your group and you have at least 10 leaders who are willing to help support that with posts and monitoring. It's a big job to start, but we have a big team, and so we're able to share all of that, and it's not so overwhelming that way. The third way that our group really shares is through our own personal social media. So Facebook, Instagram, and their stories are the most common ones, but it doesn't have to be just those. Also, a few have personal websites. And then the fourth is direct advertisement. So that's things like printed or internet ads, as well as vendor booths. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the details of each so that you kind of know what you're getting into. First of all, one word of mouth conversation will always be the most effective and easiest way for you to really share in a genuine manner. This is the best way to create long-term relationships because just the nature of being available and spending time with a person, they understand that you are not just selling them a product. You're really there to help them find good solutions. I would encourage you to keep it simple. Don't feel like you have to know all the answers. If you don't know an answer, say, I don't know, but I will find out. I can't tell you how many times I've said that phrase over the years, and no one has ever gotten mad. No one has ever not been my friend because of it, but we will help you find those answers. As you begin sharing, see what their needs are, find solutions for those needs. Don't feel like you have to overwhelm them with so much information up front. Deal with it as it comes, okay? So keep it very, very simple. Yeah, as I said, always the most effective way to create long-term Young Living members. The second way, you can add friends to the Facebook groups or online events. Make sure that they're really, truly interested in these opportunities. I was visiting a family member this weekend and she was scrolling through her phone and she said, oh my gosh, I don't want another group. And I saw where another family member had added her into a group, and it was a sales group. It was a specific sales store type group. And she felt so overwhelmed by the nature of that. And so it's always good to say, hey, we have an oil group and they post great recipes and tips. Would you like to be added to it? And then you'll add them to that group. They receive the notification, they accept the invite, and they're added into the group. Once they're added into the group, it's always really nice to just make a post welcoming them, saying, I'm excited for you to start your oil journey. You're going to love Young Living. And then maybe tag them in some posts that you know would be relevant to them based on the topics. You may have had conversations about babies not sleeping or about stress, anxiety. So go through the search box, type in those keywords, and find some posts that has good information for them. Be sure that as you begin adding friends to the group, that you add a weekly post. You can put up a weekly post in just a few minutes. Find a graphic you like or recipe that you've really enjoyed, or put a little post about a product that you just tried out. Doesn't have to be anything fancy at all, but when you make your own post in the group, your friends are watching for you. And what you have to say is always going to be more important what I have to say than what I have to say or any other leader. So they'll be watching for you to be visible in that group. And when you make that post, just know that there's others of us in there who are going to chime in and to affirm what you have to say and to give other suggestions. So it's kind of a way where you know it's a place where you can receive love and to start to grow in your leadership and credibility among your own personal enrollments and prospects. Okay. All right, so we often have classes like this on Zoom or other electronic venues. Y'all, to me, these are no-brainers. I mean, the class is already formatted. Somebody is teaching it. Just invite your friend to it and say, hey, I'm going to take a look at this class. Would you like to join it? And that's the kind of thing, it takes just a couple minutes to send an invite to a friend. So that's an easy way that you can start sharing information. And again, be sure that you show up. If you can't, that's okay. Just still check in with the friend afterward and say, hey, what'd you think of the class? Did you find anything that was helpful? Okay, this is how not to invite friends to opportunities. And I have to laugh. I don't know about you all, but right now I'm getting bombed with different types of invites to parties, primarily sales parties. And you can see, so this was a Tuesday night last week, Wednesday night last week, and then this morning is Monday. So I get 3 messages from 3 different friends. And when you look through them, there is nothing personal about them. This is a copy, cut, and paste. And it is basically saying, come to my party and buy stuff so that I get free stuff. There is no service here. And I think that a lot of us have the same types of feelings in regards to this. It's kind of like, oh, it's another one. And to be honest, I'm getting like 3 or 4 different invites every single day. Kind of doesn't feel very good, does it? Instead, call or private message your friend and say, hey, and with sincerity, I hope you're well. You've been on my mind. My friend so-and-so is hosting a class on hormones and natural options. I know this is something that you have struggled with. Would you like to watch it with me? And make sure that there are opportunities that would be relevant to them. Check in with them and follow up, see if they say yes or no. If they say yes, awesome, and then remind them the day before, and then I would send another reminder an hour before. I know even myself, there are things that I definitely want to see and participate in, and life when a busy household gets busy, and before I know it, the event has passed and I've totally forgotten, even though it's something that I really wanted to enjoy. So I would encourage you to provide those reminders, show up and participate, and then check in and follow up with them after. That is a much nicer way to take care of our friends. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, so here is what we're offering. Right now, we are about to start the Love It, Share It series for the next 10 weeks. We'll be helping our leaders provide very specific learning opportunities and specific forms of information in an effort to meet the needs of our friend pool right now. So many are looking for holistic options for promoting immunity. And so beginning Monday, we will be having a Zoom class each Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. These are the topics. You can see that there's a huge variety. So go ahead and start taking a look at the different topics and think about what each of your friends might be interested in seeing. I'm sure you've had conversations. Everyone right now needs support with immunity, stress relief, sleep, and cleaning, specifically hand wash, hand sanitizers and such. But we're offering several classes aside from that. Feel free to invite them. This is a Zoom class, so we have a Zoom link. It's the same link every single week. The password is always Valor. If you have a friend who says, oh, I want to see that, but I'm busy that night, we will post the follow-up link for it, the playback link, Tuesday after that Monday class. So you'll have that link to share with them. This is, like I said, it's a no-brainer. It is content ready to go. Okay, using your personal social media. This is a biggie. It is the biggest game changer between growing linearly and growing exponentially. But that's only true if it's good social media. Have you all seen any of your friends like totally damage their Facebook profiles with the things that they're posting, especially in the last 4 years, and most definitely since March. Um, so really, the idea of social media, I mean, it is a 6-month course in and of itself, but we're going to make this really, really simple and effective. Keep in mind that the prime goal of social media is creating authentic relationship. And I know sometimes people are like, I can't handle social media. I don't like it. It's a place for people to argue. There's discontent there. And certainly you can find that there. But there's also so much good for relationship building that's happening there. When I was so sick, I had a year where I could not talk at all. Like there was no voice. I had a mass on my voice box. And during that year, I was still able to have really meaningful, supportive relationships through communication on Facebook and seeing posts. And I was able to have so much support from friends and family. So your Facebook or your social media is what you make of it. Keep in mind that everyone is selling something on their social media, and it's usually something they're really passionate about. Make sure that it's something that you're very aware of who your audience is. It is going to require that you step out of your comfort zone and that you present vulnerability at times. The key to good social media is consistency. I find that every now and then we'll have leaders who build businesses and they're thriving and doing great, and then they want to take 2 months out from social media, and it's just like everything stops. Okay, so consistency is key. Even if it's just 5 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week, you can absolutely share effectively in that way. Y'all, social media is fantastic because it is stinking free. It is free advertisement. When we share about things that we are passionate about, whether it's Young Living or anything else, we want to be really aware of understanding that we will have a friend group who appreciates that and who will be open-minded to what we are sharing. But there will likely be some friends that may be offended. Whether they should be or not be is irrelevant. But anytime we're sharing things that have a strong emotional component, we just need to be sure that we're weighing, is this worth fighting for publicly? Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. So just keep that in mind. When we share in social media, whether it's on our personal pages or in groups, by doing that, we are gathering a group of individuals who are affirming what we are teaching and sharing. And that is one of the great benefits of our group, and definitely the 10-week series that will be starting Monday. As we go through this together, we can all watch for one another's posts. And the nature of social media is that there are algorithms that help it to become more viewed. And so when you have friends who are helping to watch for your post and who are liking and commenting and interacting, that's going to weigh the favor of the algorithm on your side so that you get more views. Be sure that you are a part of the Love It, Share It Facebook group. That's where we will be sharing specific post ideas and tips, strategies for using your social media. The fourth key way that I think our group has grown our Young Living businesses and shared effectively is through direct advertisement. And so that could be through print or web ads or vendor booths. Those are probably the most common. All of these have a cost. So you want to make sure that you're weighing the financial cost of it as compared to the audience that it is going to create for you, or the number of viewers. When we use print or web ads, it's really important that we have beautiful content, and specifically that we have some sort of system in place that turns that viewer back to us to make their purchase. And so sometimes that can be something that takes some time to develop well, but it can be really valuable. Vendor booths can be costly, and you want to make sure that it's going to have a good attendance. Again, you're going to need some kind of beautiful display that really promotes the opportunity to have conversations with folks and provides on-site options for purchasing and ordering, as well as a way to follow up with them afterwards. Vendor booths are likely to need some help. I've done very few vendor booths by myself. They were all small. Most of the time, I try to take two to three friends with me. So just keep that in mind as you're preparing and thinking through opportunities. So with all of the different ways that we share, there's some challenges and there's some benefits. When we share one-on-one, it just takes time. And it's the kind of thing that, I do life with my friends all the time anyway. The topics come up and there's opportunities for conversations. I'm going to spend time with them anyway, and I can certainly use that time to help them well. And by doing that, we have an open line of communication. As I mentioned, that is really the most effective way to create long-time product users. People are really happy with the Young Living products. The downside to it is that we're only communicating with one person at a time. That's different from when we use some sort of public marketing, whether on social media or vendor booth. It requires really diligent follow-up, and sometimes that can be difficult one-on-one. But we are having access to a very large market that we would not have had access to otherwise. So those are kind of the challenges and benefits that you want to be aware of. And as we come to closing, I want you to kind of think through what forms of getting the word out are you willing and able to do at this time? One-on-one help, using online resources, using your own social media. Which social medias are you going to use? Do you have opportunities for advertisement? Vendor booths aren't so common right now, but they will be. Do you have other suggestions, other ideas that would be really effective for you? If you already have a marketplace such as a salon, a healthcare practice, any type of service that you already provide, a brick and mortar store, oh my word, then it's easy to add Young Living to the offerings that you have for your friends. So there can be an infinite number of options. Like I said, these are the four most common. I want to leave you with some simple action steps. These can all be done in less than 5 minutes. First of all, make sure that on your social media page that you either list that you're a Young Living distributor and enter your member number so that a friend will see that and come back and use you as their enroller. If you've been doing Young Living business very long at all, you've probably had a time where a friend said, oh, I bought Young Living product, but I didn't know you sold it, so I bought it from somebody else. Ooh, that stings. So be sure that you're presenting that number because your friends love you. They are going to want to support you in that way. Or make a pretty link is what we call it. There's a video on how to turn your enrollment link, your personal enrollment link, into a bit.ly link. And so my enrollment link says bit.ly/Laura Ownby Young Living. And it's super simple. If I'm having a quick conversation with a friend in a grocery store and she says, I'm ready to order my kit, I can say, go to bit.ly/Laura Ownby Young Living, and it's that simple. So be sure that one of those is visible on your social media. If you want the video for making the bit.ly link, let me know, I'll send that to you. Go ahead and invite a friend to Monday night's Zoom class at 7 o'clock. Monday night, I'll be sharing natural immunity. As I mentioned, I had a type of lung cancer a couple years back, and my family is pretty intentional with how we support natural immunity in general. But certainly right now, my husband starts back to school tomorrow. So I'll be sharing what we use, and I think it will be really helpful. I know I'm getting a lot of questions personally from individuals asking, well, what are you doing right now? So I think it'll be a topic that'll be relevant. It doesn't take but a minute to invite a friend to that class. Send a message to a friend and ask if they would like to learn about essential oils in the Love at First Drop group. That is our preview group. We keep the content there pretty simple to just the basics of oil safety and how to use them. And I would encourage you, as we mentioned before, actually pick some topics that you know are relevant to them and would be helpful to them as you create your message. Be sure that you are added to the Love It, Share It group so that you have access to our ongoing support. I'm sure you may have other ideas of things that you might want to do that could take just a couple minutes. If you have longer and you want to pursue more of this, check out this slide presentation. It's a Google Docs. This link is attached. I titled it Money Really Does Grow on Trees. And it's a slide presentation that shows you how to actually help your friends order. They can order directly from you, and that just means that you have to deliver it or ship it to them. Or they can create their own accounts and order in that manner, and the product is shipped directly to them. It shows the benefits of both. It shows how much you would earn for both. So that is a good basic business class that you can glance through in less than 30 minutes. I would also suggest that you contact your enroller or sponsor or another leader, myself, and just tell them, look, I am at this point with sharing and doing business, and I was wondering if you could just kind of help me think through what you might do or what you think would be effective. A lot of times, if we just get the guidance of someone who is kind of outside what we're dealing with on the day-to-day, they can look at it and say, these are the simple things that you can do to streamline everything that's crazy in the world. So check in with one of the leaders. They are here to help you. As we go into the Love It, Share It program, you'll see as I begin posting next week, we kind of have 3 different tiers of tasks or ideas, suggestions. Some of them take as little as 15 to 30 minutes a week. Some are 45 minutes to 90 minutes a week. Some are 3 hours. How much do you have in terms of physical time to offer at this point? Regardless of what it is, you can absolutely grow. We have some who do it just as a hobby. We have others who do it as a full-time income. I know for myself, we love Young Living products. We were already committed to using them forever before I ever told anyone that we had Young Living lavender in our home. It wouldn't matter if I didn't earn anything from all of this. We would still use Young Living products, but it certainly is nice that we have the residual income to depend on. All right, so here is my contact information. Feel free to message me with questions. If I can be of help, I would love to do so. And I'm going to end the recording. Thanks for watching.